Hi guys, good morning. 8th of August 2019. It's a 10 in between 10 and quarter past 11 a.m. CET, 10 past 10, quarter past 10 London. Piotr here, and this is the crypto market update here on Light Forex Global YouTube channel. Guys, risk warning first. Please bear in mind trading crypto on margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors. You can sustain or lose some or all initial investment, so please do not invest the money that you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Alright, so where we are, let's start with Bitcoin versus dollar. Let's start with the weekly chart. Very positive behavior from the previous week, continuation this week. So we got back above 10,800, and we are yesterday we tested 12,300. We are slightly pulling back right now below 12k. But overall, from the higher time frame perspective, this 2018 yearly open, that's what stopped us during the first attempt, taking into the consideration horizontal lines. That's what we are as a bulls. That's what we are looking for. Now, here on the weekly, still think we might see a little bit lower levels, and still while above 8,500, 8,200, 7,800 still might be treated as a correction eventually, and one of the move taking into the consideration equal waves may start, for example, soon from that 12,500 level. So again, it's gonna be better visible in a moment when we are going to switch to the daily chart. So this equals wave are gonna be better visible. So the possibility of the deeper pullback from here still possible. Now, why we are talking about the possible pullback? One of the reason here is that we are testing top of the trend line, right? Top of the channel, maybe that's the better description. We are testing top of the channel right now, and usually we do need 2 points to start to draw the line, right? So in that case, that's our 2 points. So that was the possibility to start to draw the line, and usually when you are approaching third time, usually you've got some kind of the reaction. Now, one can argue that 2 days ago, Tuesday, we've seen such a reaction with this upper shadow, but market is still trying to make higher break. And also, if you remember, some time ago we were discussing, because of what happened here, we have these equal waves almost everywhere. Right, there is this anyway, and that is 8,300, 8,200, 7,800 we discussed before. Anyway, there is a possibility we will see attempt to move higher through the Tuesday high, just to hit the possible supply base on the swing high around 12,800, 13,200. That's what I've mentioned, right, that above 12,500 we might see spike higher towards 12,800, 13,000, and that's gonna be this swing high we have over here. So in that case, I would be very careful from the trading perspective. From the hodling perspective, it looks a little bit different, right? You've got plenty of different opportunities to use your Bitcoin. But anyway, from trading perspective, it might be a little bit too high to try to chase the prices here from higher time frame. So in case of trying to look for longs, of course, the bottom of the channel would be the best place to try to start to look for, but there are gonna be few levels in before eventually we are going to reach that 8,500, 7,800. There are gonna be few levels worth to watch, worth to consider as a short-term buying opportunity. In that case, I'm talking about this broken 10,800 levels. So in that case, we are talking about this broken zone over here, and it's 10,800, right? That's what was supposed to work previously as supply, and for quite some time, twice here on the 20th of July and here on the 21st of July, it really was as a supply. We pulled back, retest the swing low, moving higher, right? So that's one of the reasons that, okay, we have a top of the channel, but that's one of the reasons I've mentioned that it's possible we are going to reach 12,800 is eventually retest of this swing high in that case, right? So in case of the pulling back, I would watch carefully market behavior around 10,800 from the short-term buying opportunity, and then again levels just shy below 10,000, and I'm talking about this weekly blue line, 9,800 over here, and finally if we are going to go through 9,800, so overall if the market and the bears are going to be able to push the prices below the key psychological 10,000 level, yeah, we might see this 8,500, 8,200, 7,800, the retest of the bottom of that channel. Now, if you remember, when we were trying to discuss Bitcoin price some time ago, we were trying to use the Litecoin price behavior 6 months ahead of the halving, right? And still we have some time towards the period where for Bitcoin is gonna be like 6 months left to halving. We are talking about late October, something like November. So now trying to put the puzzle all together, that might be the case that we might see this last pullback on Bitcoin. We might in that case see eventually some kind of the altcoins rally, but we are going to discuss it in a second. So we might see some kind of the difficulties, pullback on Bitcoin, maybe some kind of the consolidation towards late October, beginning of November, and then eventually we see something bigger towards the end of the year, and then again towards the halving in May 2020. So I'm going to watch very carefully. Let's switch to the hourly chart, and if you are an aggressive day trader, let's have a look what we have here. If there is something, in my opinion, worth to watch, let's this wave leave on the daily only. All right. So we are not going to discover America, that the latest aggressive rally and nice opportunity based on the trend line here. So overall, I see from the bulls perspective, I see probably one good possibility. Let me explain. We are creating some kind of the triangle here. It might be treated as a flag, right, and break to the upside. But what I would like to see, let me visualize it for you. Just 1 second. What I would like to see here would be some kind of an attempt to break through this intraday trend line to the downside with quick recovery, right? So the attempt to break is gonna be rejected. And from the candlesticks perspective, that's what I would like to see, would be some kind of the attempt to go lower, creating lower shadow under the trend line. That's the important, under the trend line, and then move back and strong close over the trend line. something in terms of the how I would like the candle to looks like, something similar, for example, to the candle over here, right, the one with lower shadow. But I need to see the shadow below the trend line, so I want to see some stop hunt. I want to see some kind of the you know, aggressive move to the downside, but then the counter move from the bull side and closing, and it might be with the close above the top trend line from this possible flag formation. All right, that would be great. That's what I would like to see from that perspective. On the other hand, if you are a bear and you are looking for selling opportunity, all right, so not sure if that's not the selling opportunity short term. So the distance between the entry and the stop has to be very, very, very close. You don't want to risk the whole fortune here because of the eventually possible breakout and the flag creation. But anyway, as we speak, the 2 points are needed to create the trend line. So we have 1 second, we have a third attempt, reaction, some kind of the rejection here on the early. So there is a possibility to retest the trend line, and it's gonna be all about retest of the trend line. So it might be short term, all about 11,500, right? And the bigger trouble for the buyers from the intraday perspective with the stop count below 11,300, 11,200, 250, right? That might be the case towards 10,800, also based eventually on the equal waves. And as you can see, that would work perfectly fine, right? So that could be the solution. So I think from both perspective, bulls and bears, I think we created the trading plan, and it doesn't look bad here. So just trying to follow the plan instead of trying to chase the market, trying to do some kind of the front running, simply trying to avoid the troubles, right? That's how I see the things here. Let's switch to Ethereum versus US dollar. And here I think we are simply trapped. It's gonna be better visible from the daily chart, but so let's start with the daily chart, and that's what I think about the trap is the latest level where we've seen the weakness on the Ethereum, right? And it's below 200, let's say towards 190, 180. So that's what even wasn't tested yet, actually, right? On the other hand, from this daily chart perspective, we have the zone which was supposed to work as a demand because of the move to the upside, right? We went through that zone, and as you can see, once we went through, so that the thing was supposed to work as a demand, right now should work as a supply. And as you can see, 20th of July, 21st of July, it was supply. This week the zone again is working as a supply. So overall, based on this daily chart, it looks like we are trapped in between something below 200 and to the upside 235, 240. In case of the move higher through the 240, the next possible level is 10% higher towards 270, 275. In that case, we are talking about the zone over here. There was a drop base continuation, and that was through this previous demand. So that's how the things looks like from the daily chart perspective. The range is a little bit wider from the weekly chart perspective. To the downside, similar levels, to the upside a bit higher, above 270. But I would focus on a daily, and the reason I would focus on a daily is because of what is going on with Ethereum versus Bitcoin, right? I've been thinking that there was a chance we might see some kind of the consolidation around the level close to 002, right? but looks like market decides different way, and we are still breaking lower here. So meaning that right now the king is only one, and there is a huge Bitcoin dominance right now. So with this Ethereum Bitcoin chart, where we are well below 002 right now, that's one of the reasons we see big blood on the street when we are talking about the alts, right? And looks like it's not going to change quickly. The thing is that first we have to get back above 002, and if that's going to happen, then we have a chance to retest 0025, but looks like because of this latest break to the downside, right, 002 right now may work as huge supply level, right, this breakdown level here. So there is a little bit, you know, I was trying to, you know, I've been trying to think what worse may happen here, and I've been thinking about this huge move to the downside on the Ethereum versus Bitcoin. Then been thinking about much smaller second move to the downside. All right, and after this consolidation, maybe that's the last one, the shortest move to the downside in terms of the visible distance. So, well, we will see. But I've been, to be honest with you, I've been trying to front run a little bit this Ethereum when we were around 002. Gave up with the latest break through 002. Waiting right now for a move back, and in that case right now I wanna see the close above this green zone, because this green zone right now might work as a huge supply in that case, in case of the Ethereum versus Bitcoin. So overall, from the alts traders perspective, especially versus Bitcoin, there still might be a little bit more blood on the street. I wouldn't say greed is bad, but maybe being too greedy right now, it's not the best thing. Let's check a few others. So here is the Litecoin I've been mentioning before, and what we see here is a Litecoin versus Bitcoin, and we falling same way as we falling on Ether versus Bitcoin. And that, as you can see here from the daily chart perspective, there is still plenty of space to try to go a little lower towards 006. So trying to create some kind of the jumper, there is still some space. So we are trading 0076 towards 006, still plenty of space. At some point it might be and we might see some short covering and a little bit of the squeeze to the upside, but still I wouldn't say it's going to happen anytime soon. What is needed from the bulls perspective, trying to change that negative picture, negative view, so that would be great to get back and close above, as you can see, 0.00825 or maybe 83. That would be the best thing for Litecoins bulls, and then try to move higher towards 009, maybe 0095, right? And finally moving above 01, so going and closing daily on the daily charts about this zone over here, right? That would provide opportunities for buyers, for bulls to try to squeeze sellers much more, but that's not the case for now. Bears are controlling the market, supply towards 0.00825. Litecoin versus dollar. From the weekly chart perspective, negative thing that we got back below 100, right? So 110 right now. As you can see, that what previously used to work as a support here, here, here. Right now, a few weeks ago, because of the halving, we were able to get back above, and unfortunately 4 weeks ago move and break below 110. Some kind of the consolidation. Some kind of the consolidation and trying to find some kind of the demand zone based on the combination of this. Let me explain 1 second. All right, because of this Riley based and Riley, right? So we're trying to use this zone, the previous supply as well here, right, as some kind of the level, trying to activate more buyers around 75 and 70. So here for now, the demand visible 75-70, visible supply towards psychological 100 level, and a little bit higher towards 110 on the Litecoin versus dollar. Only move above and weekly close above 110, especially 2 consecutive weekly close above, that might create the opportunity for another rally higher. In that case, if we are going to see higher levels, then we might see 175 and 185, the levels seen last time around the late April 2018, right? And based on the size, equal waves, that's what cannot be ruled out in my opinion, right? That was the equal move. So in case we are going to move from here, 60-75 might be the case for the bulls. For the bears, move and close below 70. That might be the big breakdown, and we might see much lower levels, even with attempt to retest the lows below 30. The only thing might rescue us is this level around 57 and the one around 38.40, right? So plenty of space below 70 to push the price much lower on Litecoin. Ripple versus US dollar. I'm very bearish here. We haven't seen really good rally compared to what we have on Litecoin, on Bitcoin. So this is one of the asset really didn't see anything positive. We are, at the very bottom, 30 cents, trying to hold on a weekly basis 27.5, right? And okay, one can argue that that's good bottoming formation trying to consolidate. It might be at some point that we are going to see huge squeeze to the upside, all right? But what I would like to see as a buyer, very similar situation to what we discussed on this intraday Bitcoin versus US dollar chart. I would like to see attempt to go through the 27.5 cents, creating the lower shadow, right? So trying to these buyers to force to get out because of the stop, right? So trying to go lower, building lower shadow, and then squeezing higher, even towards $1, right? Because it's getting narrower. So we have to find the solution. In case of the break and close below 27.5, I don't know what to say for to bulls, but that may open 1 cent in my opinion, right? Huge downside risk with the weekly close below 27.5. Let's say round number, let's say 25 cents, right? So bulls are looking for a squeeze, trying to force bears to get out. Bears will try to continue to the downside. Weekly close below 27.5, 25 round number cents might be very negative here on the Ripple. Okay. EOS versus dollar. Let's switch to daily chart. It's gonna be better history. So trying to hold $4 level, right, on a daily chart with the things we've seen to the left, meaning that we are trying to hold because of we've seen here and because of this break to the upside. So right now we are trying to hold this for $4 and a little bit below $4. The thing is similar to what we discussed with Litecoin and with Ethereum. Because of this Bitcoin dominance, we are seeing here lower levels. So from the bulls perspective, because saying that we are trying to hold, probably it's not very much encouraging buyers, right? But unfortunately that's the true, and trying to cancel this negative scenario, trying to encourage more people to jump in and buy here from the daily chart perspective. I think that we have to get back above $6. So from now it's like 50% move to the upside. We'll just cancel very bearish scenario, will switch to neutral, right? Meaning that we have to move much higher to encourage people to jump into that train and trying to push the prices much higher. And above, if in case of the closing above 6, we are going to open the levels around 9.30, so that's good. That's another 50% from 6, right? Trying to use dynamic lines, meaning the rising and falling trend lines. Oops, sorry. We have this negative channel, right? The good thing is that last few days we were trying to escape that channel and consolidate market. That might be compared to what we've seen on Litecoin, on Ripple, that might be here the positive sign. So let's check closer to the end of the week if we are still above $4 on the EOS. And the last one today is a NEO. After a huge rally towards 20, we gave up almost everything here, right? So moving back towards 10, and that's as you can see here, that's the psychological level based to what we've seen in the past, right? So this 10 and 950 levels, they used to work as a good supply before we break, retest, and continue higher, right? So right now there is another retest of that level, and again, because of what we are talking about for the whole meeting today, the thing is that Bitcoin is dominating a lot, and that's one of the reason alts are bleeding. We have to understand that trying to buy the alts right now, meaning that we are trying to sell Bitcoin, going short Bitcoin, meaning on the other hand that we are against the current market move on Bitcoin, right? So that's many different details going to have the influence. But overall, trying to make it as easy as possible, watching Ethereum versus Bitcoin from the 002 perspective, that might be the case. Here, NEO looks negative as well. I'm not gonna be surprised that we are going to see another push lower, breakdown through 9, and we are going to retest the lows we've seen previously down towards $5. The cancellation of this negative scenario with the move and close, daily close, or 2 consecutive daily close above 15. Guys, that was my pleasure to be with you here to discuss cryptocurrency charts. Be careful, especially with the current Bitcoin price action, and because of where we are, right, there is a possibility of some kind of the pullback, so don't be trapped here. As you can see, we were a little bit higher when we started to discuss this possibility. So yeah, end of the day, it's gonna be the key. It was my pleasure, guys. Don't be trapped, and see you around. Have a good one.